Okay, Dr. Wright, it is Friday again, and it gets to be a reoccurring theme. We have these end-of-week chats. Today, World Kindness Day, so happy World Kindness Day.
Thank you, we need that.
But also, it's Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Hey, so pick a side. Hopefully we have some good things to share, though, with everyone. A lot of news this week. First off, W.A. Wright had been on remote. It is projected that they will come back into full-time traditional as we get back to school on Monday, that they'll go back full-time traditional. That is correct.
That is correct. Okay. And in fact, in having a conversation with the principal, Wilma Hawkins, she feels very good about coming back in on Monday. She's been checking with staff and, again, much of it being anecdotal, but she said they're in a good place to return on Monday.
Great. With one coming back, we have one rolling off, and that is new today. Tell us a little bit about the school that will be going into remote effective on Monday.
Well, and we've been watching the numbers at Green Hill High School all week long. And so, and again, we're talking about the high school students, grades 9 through 12, that we will move to remote next week. And it's become a staffing issue. And where we had teachers even trying to cover for classes as we're seeing more and more staff members either because of quarantine or COVID positive, we can't maintain or keep that. So at this point, Green Hill High School will move to remote next week.
Green Hill High School is the first of our schools to go on remote that were on a previously hybrid schedule.
Yes.
Our younger kids, our elementary kids, are full-time traditional, and there's been a few remotes there, transitions. But Green Hill's the first. Concerns there that in one of our hybrid situations, schools that they are going to remote, or it's just the nature of the unpredictability of the virus.
Well, and you hit it right there, the unpredictability, but it's also the mystery of this virus. And the thing is that when we think that we might have sort of a semblance around, we have to pay attention. And the other piece, with the thing that, again, looking at this far out and as long as we've been in school, we've been really fortunate, and I say that, very fortunate with our schools grades 6 through 12 that have been on the hybrid. But the thing that's been the difference maker, I believe, my opinion, it's been the mask.
Yeah.
And again, in school, we firmly believe that it's not something that's manifesting in the school, but it's coming from outside into the school. But the mask, we really think so. And if you're talking to students, they'll tell you it's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, but they're wearing them. They're wearing them as the staff. And I'll recognize that. I mean, is it bothersome? Yes, but as soon as we're finishing this interview, the mask comes on. If I'm out and about in the schools, the mask comes on.
Yeah, for those saying, Dr. Wright wears your mask, she wears a mask all day, every day, and we were properly social distanced. There's no one else in this room, and we've both been checked this morning. So we've done everything that we can do. So just so people say, well, Dr. Wright, where's your mask? Well, she's going to put it on here very, very shortly.
And again, I really want to emphasize that we've been fortunate. Pay attention to what's going on around us. And so, again, this does mitigate, but the thing, that's the mystery of the virus. We don't know. We have people that are very ill right now, and they will say, I have no idea how I was able, to contract this virus. And they're puzzled by it because they've taken every precaution. Sure. So we don't need to let our guard down. And the thing that I guess, Bart, that I want to stress, the last thing we want to do, the last thing, and this is what keeps me up at night, we don't want to move the district remote to a remote setting.
For an entire district remote shutdown.
And I know that decision is being made in several districts around us, but we're going to do everything we can to keep, learning. If we have to make a decision by school, if we have to make a decision as far as, where it's maybe just even a grade level, we're going to do so. So the last thing we want to do is to move to remote, but I have to have help. And I have to have understanding that this is the difference maker.
This is something that you introduced. You wanted to give that report to our stakeholders, communities, families, everyone, to say, here's how our trends have been. And when you think about that report, there was some good, there was some bad, and there was some ugly on there. It's just a matter of how, the way the trends go. This report will be issued coming up again in December. As we take a
December
look,
the 11th.
we're in the middle of the second part of another 20-day block as we look at.
And again, and as you noted, I did, I presented that to the board because I think it needs to be understood that this is something that we're not doing a glance back. We monitor every single day. We're taking attendance. We're looking at absences, whether it's student or staff. We are, and again, whether we're looking at COVID positive or is it just illness,
right?
Making those distinctions. So this is something we're monitoring every single day to look at the impact. Why are we seeing a cluster in this quadrant of the district as opposed we're not seeing the same movement in another part? Some would say, well, that's really fascinating. Well, it's more than fascinating. It tells us as far as what's happening also with movement within any area. We see that even moving traditional with K-5, there's little movement. We can contain a cohort, but we've still had outbreaks. But we've also been able to contain it as far as with that particular school without having to shut down, all of our K-5, which again, because we're monitoring it daily and looking at every school and every element as far as taking place there. The same thing that when we look at what's happening grades 6 through 12, it's a hybrid. Half your population on any campus at any time. And the thing that we can't minimize is the movement, student movement. And I think I brought this up in an earlier video that, parents have asked, well, just contain the students in a classroom and let the teachers move. When you look at middle school and high school scheduling,
a lot of moving parts, yeah.
Students are not in the same classes. They're not in the same levels, whatever it might be. So you have to move students, and it's not about moving teachers because they're not set up that way. But the thing is, we're constantly looking to see how we can improve. What can we do to make sure that we reemphasize and to the point that we don't get complacent with hygiene, washing hands, hand sanitizers. There's nowhere in a building that you can move without having access to hand sanitizer. Doing that daily cleaning in the classroom, it becomes very important, not only as a routine, but that's just the way we need to do business now.
Right.
And again, we bring that up in that report. But then again, this last one, the conclusion, we need to stay the course with the models that we have in place. K-5 remain traditional as best we can, and hybrid for grades 6 through 12. But as we're moving into this season right now, and the next 20-day report, 20 school days comes out December the 11th. Our numbers are alarming. That anytime that we've had an event or a holiday, you can almost count out that 10 to 14-day period, you start seeing the uptick. And here we're coming for a holiday that, again, it's about family, it's about tradition, it's about food, it's about travel, whatever it might be, and usually a large gathering. And it has to be one of my favorite holidays.
It's my favorite holiday as well. It's certainly one of mine as well. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's unfortunate that we might have to think about it differently. And maybe, hopefully it's just this year.
You're right.
Because the thing is, we have to contain the virus. The virus doesn't take a break. And if anything, we're seeing that, again, whether maybe it's the cold weather, but this was predicted last year that we were going to see a virus that thrives and with this weather change, whatever it might be. But whatever we can do, I guess I'm urging, maybe begging our families to really rethink how they spend the following week with family and friends.
Rethink it in the most responsible way you can. I think that's the message here. Not telling you to not.
Oh, absolutely not, because again, like I said, I'm cooking. But there's a lot of things that I'm also looking at so differently than I would not have even considered last year. So when you brought the term up, being responsible, take every precaution, everything that might be something that you would have just because this is the way we've rethink it. Is there a better way of doing it? Is there a better way of protecting family and friends? Just think about it, because the thing that we do know that we'll be looking again when we return back after Thanksgiving week, we'll start counting those days and pray. I will make no apologies, but pray that we're not going to see a tremendous uptick, because it's going to impact how we have school. One of the things that we do, not only are we monitoring those numbers, and we always talk about whether we're in that medium range, that critical range, and even when we started looking at this, that we had 11 days that early on in the school year where we were above that critical range for 11 to 12 days. Well, we're well above that critical range right now. And I don't want to minimize as far as that when we say that. Yes, that's looking at it across the county, but what's reflected in the county becomes something that we will see mirrored in our schools. So please, 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 every precaution. Wear the mask.
Wear the mask.
Wash your hands.
Do what it takes. It takes us all, right?
And yes, and don't take the risk if you know someone that's not feeling well.
Yeah.
Call them.
Yeah.
You don't have to see them.
That's right.
So please.
All great words. And again, thank you for your time on another busy week, certainly a busy Friday. And we hope you have a nice weekend. We hope everybody has a nice weekend. And we'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you, Bart.